our pop quiz. Let's see what you learned this week in the lightning round. Question 1. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. False, of course not. He was a prophet. Question 2. Jeremiah is an Old Testament prophet. True. This means that he lived before the time of Jesus. Question 3. Jeremiah was really old when God called him to be a prophet. False. He was just a kid. Question 4. God knew that Jeremiah would be a prophet even before Jeremiah was born. True. The Bible says that God knew all about Jeremiah even before his mom was pregnant. Question 5. God told Jeremiah exactly what to say when he went to speak to the people. True. God was there the whole time, guiding Jeremiah and giving him the right words to say. Question 6. Jeremiah brought God's message to grown-ups, kings, and kids. True. His message is for all of us. Question 7. God left Jeremiah all alone when he went to talk to the people. False. No way. God was with him the whole time, just like God's with us all the time. Phew, that was tough. Did you pass? Let's jump into our lesson this week. The text is Jeremiah chapter 1, verses 4 to 10. As you might have noticed, Jeremiah is the name of the prophet and the name of the book for this week. This isn't a coincidence. The book of Jeremiah in the Old Testament is all about the prophet Jeremiah, from the moment that God called him and asked him to share the message with the people. Now, unlike a lot of prophets God called, Jeremiah was pretty young. It says here in verse 7 that he was just a boy. Can you imagine what it would be like to all of a sudden hear God calling your name? And he's saying, you're going to be a prophet. I need you to take this message with you to your whole school. No, wait. Your whole city? No, wait. Your whole country? How would you feel? Scared? Probably. Excited? Maybe. Confused? Definitely. Some of you might even react like Jeremiah did. Are you sure? I'm just a kid. Maybe you have me confused with another Jeremiah. Nope. God doesn't make mistakes. He wanted Jeremiah, and he knew that Jeremiah would do a great job. And of course, God was with him the whole time. See, what's important for us to learn in this text is that God had a plan for Jeremiah even before he was born. God knew where Jeremiah's life would take him, and Jeremiah just had to trust God and say yes when God called him. And the same is true for us. God might not have called you to be a prophet, but he still knows you. The Bible says that God knows even the number of hairs that we have on our head. And God made you so special, and he's got a great big plan for your life. Isn't that so exciting? Maybe you're going to start a charity, or maybe you'll be a foster parent, or maybe you'll go to school to be a missionary or a minister, or maybe you'll volunteer at Sunday school. I don't know what God has planned for your life. I'm not even sure what he's got planned for my life. But what I do know is that we have to be ready to say yes. And just like Jeremiah, the opportunity might be scary, but God will be with us the whole time. He'll give us all the answers that we need. We need to have faith in God, just like God has faith in us. And with that, let's jump into our Bible memory verse for today. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. Now I'll take some words away. Keep following along and we'll memorize this verse together. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. Here comes your challenge for this week. Challenge 1. With your parents' help, brainstorm a list of words or phrases that best describe you or other members of your family. Then print off the God Knows All About Me picture frame template from our Sunday School webpage or from the link below. Follow the instructions to complete the craft. Challenge 2. Brainstorm a list of questions that you'd like to ask Reverend Mark or our new minister, Greg. God called these two men to be ministers and help people in our church. What would you ask them about how God called them? We'll ask them these questions in an upcoming video. As always, share your experiences with me online or on Sunday mornings. Thanks for joining me this week. Stay tuned for the announcements at the end of the video, and I'll see you Sunday.